Hey there! So to finish up this series of videos on my different sci-fi models, I thought I'd concentrate on the models I made based on the universe of this game. This is Homeworld, fantastic game. An RTS, sci-fi RTS that was made in the late 90s, I think, where you could build enormous fleets of ships and send them at other fleets of enemy ships. Great game. I definitely recommend try and find a copy, because I think they still make versions of it that work on current day PCs. So here you can see I made a model of the big mothership from the game. Now I thought I'd film it just hanging from the ceiling, because I have these hung up permanently from the ceiling of my bedroom back in England. So I think this one looks particularly good just hanging there in space. All of these have different parts that come off, like this side door comes off and releases ships out of it. These two are frigates from the game. There's basically two armies in the game that look very different. There's this lot. These are the Kushan, or the Kashan, or Kushan, whatever they're called. And these lot are the Taidan. These, depending on which one you select at the beginning of the game, the other one becomes your enemy. So that's what they look like. These two are frigates. This one on the left is an assault frigate, and that one is a ion cannon frigate. Same with these. They have equivalents in both armies. Like that one's the other army's version of the ion cannon frigate. That one's the other assault frigate. This one is a destroyer. A mean-looking one, isn't it? And this one is a big, heavy cruiser. Or is it? I don't know what it is. It's just a different looking ship. Now this one here is very near and dear to my heart. This is from one of my favourite TV shows, Babylon 5. This is the space station Babylon 5. Very big paper craft. These are all made from cardboard, or no, well, card that I printed up from different websites. Here's three of the Strikecraft, the little fighter ships from the Taidan army. The middle one, this one is a scout. So this is the very first little fighter ship you get in the game. It's kind of pretty cute looking, actually. Or is it cool? I don't know, whichever one you prefer. I like it because it's got these kind of flares or little mini wings, and it's got these angled wings look so good. I mean, there's probably no reason you'd need them in space, because, you know, you're more likely to need like little thrusters and stuff all over the place. But who cares? It's a cool looking ship, and physics doesn't matter. It's got obviously a little gun turrets on the front. This is one of the fastest ones you can get. So if you build a bunch of these in the game, you can send them all over the map. But they're not very strong. They tend to die a lot, which is why you need these. These are interceptors. They've got way more firepower, but they're slightly slower, so there's a slight trade-off. But they're also really cool looking. So that's a cool looking one. And probably one of the coolest looking ones in the game, this one is an attack bomber. This one's got loads of firepower, but for some reason it's got the consistency of porridge, and it's about as, you know, easy to shoot down as that. For some reason, I don't know why, but they're one of the weakest ones. So if you build yourself a squadron of these, they'll be gone by the end of the battle, which makes no sense. I wish they were stronger, because they'd be... Actually, maybe they decided they had to be weak, because then the game would be ridiculously unbalanced. Because you could just build a load of these and you could win really easily. So here's some of these little fighter ships from the other army. This is the Kushan army. This one is also a scout, so this is the equivalent of this one. So you see, these are basically the same ship. They've got the same strengths, but they're totally different designs. Fairly interesting looking design. For some reason, the engines, they just have different looking engines. They've got like these flat sort of Millennium Falcon looking engines on the back. And then there's the weapons. These two are corvettes. Now I didn't build any corvettes for the other army, but this one I thought was cool looking, so I decided to make one. It's got a little turning turret on the bottom there. Oh yes. The way I did that was with a little wooden dowel that I stuck in the back, and then you just stick it through, and there you go. You can have a turning turret on the bottom. These are pretty useless in the game, actually. They're only meant as an intermediary before you get to these ones. These are the heavy corvettes, and they're much stronger, and actually they're one of the strongest ones in the game. Again, this one's got two turning turrets, so they can target multiple things at once. Pretty cool looking thing, actually. Looks mean, looks beefy. I like that. Now this is one of the first enemy fleets you encounter in the game. This one is a little interceptor fighter ship from the Tyrannic Raiders, who are this crazy nomadic race who just fly around, shoot at people. They're fairly easy to destroy, but in swarms they can be pretty nasty. I quite like this one because of the tiger stripes on the side. They look nice and weird. These ones are called swarmers. You encounter this lot. Anyway, it's a mission called the Garden of Kadesh. It's this nebula you fly into, and in there, hiding, are this crazy bunch of lunatics who fly around in these ships, and they're incredibly xenophobic, and so they decide as soon as they see you, they've got to shoot at you, and they have some sort of vague motivation for it. These may not look like much. In fact, individually they're quite easy to destroy, but they launch hundreds of these things at you. I'm not kidding. It's like one of the hardest missions in the game. Same with these ones. These are the advanced swarmers, and these are even nastier. But yeah, you do not want to see loads of these coming at you, because they're very hard to defend against. They actually made a sequel to Homeworld 1, which is called Homeworld 2, the original. And in it, I only got around to making one model, because these are so difficult to make. Basically, they upgraded the graphics. One of the things that makes these slightly easier to make is because they were working with 1999 graphics, they tended to make them very low in terms of polygons, which means like different sides. So for the sequel, they made slightly more complicated ones because PC power had come up quite a lot in the intervening years. So the only problem that makes is that when you're making models of them, they're way more detailed and they're way more difficult to make into little papercraft models like this. But it's such a cool looking one, I stuck it out and made one anyway. This one is a little interceptor or something. Here's a heavy cruiser. This one was this is like the end game content, the biggest one you can get. It's so big that it takes like, I think literally 6 or 7 minutes of in-game time to actually construct it. And it takes a ton of resources to make as well. It's supposed to have 6 of these turrets and 2 more on the top and bottom here, but to be honest, they got so tedious to make I just gave up. So yeah, that one's not quite finished, but you get the idea of it. Now here's the other mothership from the game. This one is the tie-down mothership, and it's got quite a lot of good detail to it. You can see it's got 2 little docking bays. This is where all the little Strikecraft come out of, the little fighters, and then the bigger ships come out of the bottom here. This one had lots of cool looking engines at the back as well, although you never see it flying around, it just kind of stays there. It's meant to be your sort of base that you defend in the game. Anyway, so I hope you had a bit of fun looking at these. It certainly makes an interesting change from railway videos, and I'll be back to the normal programming next time. See ya!